end on March the 29th next year. Let's get the views now of Nigel Farage, UKIP MEP, leader of his faction in the European Parliament. MPs are saying, actually, we need more time on this. Do you agree?
You know, the only crumb of comfort for people who voted leave is that we appear to be on track, you know, given that the Royal Assent was given this week to the EU withdrawal bill. We appear to be on track to leave at 11 p.m. on the 29th of March next year. Everything else we're pretty unhappy about. You know, whether it's taking back fisheries, whether it's being free to make our own trade deals, whether it's getting back control of our borders. The only crumb of comfort was leaving on the 29th of March. And frankly, if that gets delayed, that will be betrayal. No other word for it.
But if the alternative is a hard Brexit with no deal, many people in the UK would say that could be a financial disaster.
Well, listen, we were told if we didn't join the euro, it would be a financial disaster by many of the same voices telling us leaving without a deal is a disaster. This referendum that we had back in 16 was about whether we become an independent country. That's what people voted for, and that is what's got to be delivered.
Even if there's a price to be paid, even if car manufacturers, plane manufacturers pull out the UK.
As I say, we've heard all this before, going back to the euro, what the government needs to do.
We're in reality now, aren't we? I mean,
what the government needs to do.
Businesses are making their plans.
Well, what the government needs to do, the government now needs to come up with a radical new plan and needs to start getting European businesses on their side. Because, I mean, clearly, it should be in the interest of the European Union to have a sensible trade deal with us, because they sell us more than we sell them. They're not behaving that way. I think we've got to try some different tactics. We've got to be a lot more radical, but the British government needs to get European businesses, car manufacturers in Germany, etc. We've got to get them on our side against what Monsieur Barnier is doing.
Can she?
No, but we can try a bit harder than we have been. At the moment, the whole Brexit process appears to be operating on civil service to civil service level. We need something better than that.
I mean, you said to me last time we talked that British industry was only 10% of the British economy. I mean, that sounds a bit like Boris Johnson, although put a bit more politely than he did.
No, the point I'm making is 90% of the UK economy is governed by the rules of a single market without exporting to Europe. What we need to do is to be free of regulatory alignment that allows us to become competitive and to go global. That is surely the prize from Brexit. And the worry is, if we carry on the current course and we leave, but we finish up wrapped up in all the EU rules for the next 5 years, we won't see any benefit.
Now, you famously had that poster with hordes of migrants behind you. I mean, the reality is, 2 years ago we were talking about millions of migrants coming into the UK, or coming into the European Union, rather. Now we're talking about tens of thousands. So,
the numbers have slowed.
So Europe has been successful instead.
Well, not really, no. I mean, the truth is that millions have come already, as you know. The problems of assimilation in countries like Germany and Sweden are enormous. And we've got this very strange situation where an incoming Eurosceptic Italian government is asking the EU to do more, and a pro-EU German government is saying maybe the nation state should do a bit more. The fact the numbers are lower does not mean that in terms of voters' minds this issue is anything other than number one in Europe.
What do you think the answer is? Is it to set up camps in Africa?
This is absolutely. I mean, I said this right at the start when Juncker launched this policy in 2015. Do what the Australians did. If people are eligible for genuine refugee status, you must process them off.
But those camps on islands off Australia, I mean, humanitarian conditions there are very, very poor indeed.
I accept it wasn't a very pretty picture, but nor 8,000 or 9,000 people drowning in the last 3 years in the Mediterranean.
And just finally, how do you feel about this report, again from the Intelligence Committee this morning, that British officers, intelligence officers, knew the Americans were torturing people and didn't do enough to stop them?
I believe it. I think we turned a blind eye. I think we went through a very peculiar period in our history where we said yes to everything Brussels said and yes to everything Washington said.
And you'd be happy to go on saying yes to everything Washington said?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, you know, a special relationship means that you can say no. The trouble at the moment is we're forbidden from saying yes because we're still bound to European Union structures.
And do you believe when you listen to what Donald Trump's saying about immigrants, that that's the right way to treat people?
Well, you've got two choices. One is to say everyone come and 8,000 people drown.
And the alternative is prison camps.
And he has used an executive power to try and stop families being separated.
Which you support?
which I do support. I think it was a smart thing for him to do. Look, dealing with illegal immigration, whether it's in America or Europe, is a very difficult issue. But I think the way Trump's doing it is far better than the way the European Union have done.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much indeed. Well.